Next week tonight?
Family emergency.
Okay.
Casey's trying to nuts.
Yeah, we're all getting there. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I apologize for that delay. We're having technical difficulties. I'd like to welcome everybody to the June 13th, 2024 regular council meeting for the city of Egg Harbor. At this time, I'd like to call to order. This meeting has been properly advertised and posted in accordance with Public Law 75, Chapter 231. Have a roll call, please.
Mayor Jim Petty. Here. Atenasi.
Here.
Clark. Dash. Galloway. Here. Heist. Hesse.
Here.
Timbers. Wright.
Here.
Ritchie.
Here. May I have a motion?
Can I just say for the record, Clark will not be here, Dash and Heist.
May I have a motion to approve the minutes from May 23rd?
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody from the public have any comments on the agenda items only, excluding items listed for public hearings? Go once, go twice.
Yes, I have a question. Is number 16, is that something to ask a question about right now?
Number 16, yeah, you can ask a question regarding number 16 of resolution.
Yeah, for logistics, on Third Terrace, where is the water drainage work to be done?
It is the 300 block of Third Terrace.
300 block?
Yes,
Okay, cool. Thanks so much.
sure.
All right, let the record show Councilman Timbers is present, please. All right, anybody else from the public? All right, at this time, we have Dr. Loudon Ruffin here to do a presentation for a proposed development of St. Nicholas School property, 525 St. Louis Avenue. So Doctor, you and your team, more than welcome to come up and present what your concept is looking like.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Andy Schaefer, the engineer and planner with Dr. Larry Ruffin. And we are looking at this, the board. So we're looking at the church property, the old school, it's owned by the church, that is. And is developing an assisted living facility there. I know the city has been through a number of processes in finding a use for this site and retaining the building at the same time that pretty much not really presented themselves viable. And including our first opinion into this, which was to develop condos. But we were finding financially at best it might break even. So and then the idea of doing an assisted living process in the existing building, which would develop 26 units. And then a potential, not a future phase of another building that would develop another 50 units. Now suddenly looks financially much more viable. And it's a win-win for both the city and our applicant in that we are able to develop this with about the same amount of impervious coverage that there now, probably less. And it'll remove this fencing and sea of asphalt that's there as part of the old playground parking area. And retain most of the tree area, grass area down here. And the parking lot is the beautiful thing for an assisted living. It needs so much less than any other use you can ever imagine, except for maybe public storage, self-storage. But otherwise, it's a very low intensity of use, and it's a need that is very great in the area, and it's a shortage of assisted living facilities. That in essence is it. Your city engineer has maybe developed a path forward here that doesn't require redevelopment, which would save a huge amount of resources and time. So the ordinance, the way it's written, looks like it has a pathway to a conditional use for assisted living. Unfortunately, we don't need all the conditions. In fact, we don't meet most of them, which would require us to go to the zoning board for a use variance. But that allows that to happen so much sooner than going through the arduous redevelopment process. So, Ryan and I have developed a plan forward. We're going to speak about it with each other next week to make sure we still feel the same way. Is develop a planning solution through the ordinance that would allow us to go forward. And then also present that to the Pinelands to make sure that they agree. Because this many units, if you look at just the base density that's permitted in the zone, it would require a large fortune in Pineland development credits. But I think Ryan's found a way through that process that is permitted through the zoning board process that would alleviate us having to buy Pineland development credits. So, and in our meeting to redevelop the community earlier tonight, it's also pointed out to us that for commercial development, there is a tax abatement that is available by ordinance that we probably want to try and take advantage of also, which again, kind of points towards the idea of not going through redevelopment, because that is one of the potential benefits of going through redevelopment with an application like this, so that there are concessions that the city can make to help move this kind of project forward. Well, that already exists in the ordinance, which is a very beneficial thing to develop this project, which hasn't been tax rateable for some time. So that essentially is it. I'll let Dr. Ruffin present the architectural that we've done so far. Just as probably a lot of people are wondering, the existing building is designed to maintain this current look. It's not going to be stripped of all its exterior fashion and replaced with stuff. So it's not. And in addition, while it's not designed yet, will have to be complementary and habitated with the existing building.
Thank you so much. So, so basically the exterior of the building is going to remain the same. So interiorly, so what we're going to do with the basement, we're going to use the basement. We have the kitchen, where the kitchen is, we're going to keep that. Of course, everything will be redone. Everything will be remodeled. We have a large dining room where they currently have dining room. We're going to have a little retail cafe there, and where they currently have the bathrooms, we're going to change one of the bathrooms to make that both a men and women's bathrooms, and we will have a little mini clinic, a conference room, a common area with vending machines, a gym, and a laundry. So we're going to make it really nice. We're going to put 2 elevators into the building because for a living facility, you need the elevators. Moving into the first floor. So with the first floor, so we're going to have, so we're going to build another set of stairs coming from the grand foyer entrance, because the first floor currently is about 19 feet. So we're going to divide that to make a second floor so that we can have 3 floors. So so from the first floor here, there will be a set of stairs, a flight of stairs going up to the second floor. And here we will have, how many units here? But they are efficiency units or no, those units, they are like efficiency units or studio, studios, studio apartments. That's what is needed for assisted living. So well, all together it will be a 26 units. Going into the second floor, that new second floor, which is non-existent. So we're going to have we're going to have, seven units on that second floor. And then now, because of the way the structure of the building is, it's really difficult to mirror, what's downstairs to the middle, units, because of the way the building is structured. So it will be really like almost, half of a quarter of the building will be wasted on the second floor, but that's okay. So going into the third floor will take full advantage of. And we will have, 11 units on the third floor, so that will give us, 26 units. So we put a lot of work into this, and, our architect has done a wonderful, job. We are very, happy with what he has done, so far. So yeah, so there will be 2 elevators. And, yeah, we want to, we know there are a lot of, sentiments attached to the current building. So we want to keep the outside of the building somewhat as is, of course, make it like much nicer.
Right.
Yes.
But of course, keeping the integrity of the building is very important. And that was made very clear to us. So
Yes.
that's one of the things that we would like to get. And of course, this has to be profitable. So we're looking at the 26 units. I think that's the maximum that we can actually put in right now.
How big are the rooms?
I think they're gonna be somewhere,
22 by what?
it looks like about
22 by 17?
17, 11, it varies. and I don't
Varies,
know.
but that's the largest.
22 by 17. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's the smallest.
What's that?
Yeah.
That's the smallest?
Yes, the largest we have is 20, we have one that's 25
21 by
by
17.
17. They're pretty good.
And you said there was 26 units and there was 7 units on the second floor and 11 on the third floor? So
Yeah,
that means there's 8 on the
on the
bottom floor
Yes.
in the basement, right?
No, the bottom floor,
Oh.
not the first, so the basement will be just for the dining room and all the amenities.
Okay, oh, it's where you split it, okay.
Exactly.
What's that?
And there's also gonna be a gym in there too, in the meeting.
Yes.
In the basement.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So does the basement count as an actual floor? Because no, so anything sudden, okay. Now, my next question is, so if it's assisted living, does that mean there's going to be staff there at all times?
There will be staff there all times, yes. Yes.
Is this assisted living going to go full-time if their situation changes from assisted living to needing more help? Do they have that? Will they
No,
have that as well?
no, because from assisted living, the next level of care would be like nursing home.
Right.
Skilled nursing house. So this is not a nursing home.
Strictly assisted living.
Strictly assisted living.
Is it age restricted?
Well, right now, minimum is 21. Yes,
It is right across the street from my house. So I'm trying to figure,
we're awesome.
Yeah, that's what you want.
where's that parking lot at? Where's that fake Claudia Street?
Parking lot, what's that? That's the parking lot is by the church.
At the end,
Yeah, by the church.
It's on 9 Terrace, facing the church.
we plan on having all the accesses. We do have one here on Chicago. It may not end up that way, but time everything's done, we may have everything on 9th Terrace. So the only entity impacted will be the church.
Okay.
And even then only on Sunday, but I guess it's on Sundays.
Yeah, it's a mob scene.
So we were trying to be sensitive to the neighborhood, and this is not the final design.
I got it.
This is just a design, to figure out what kind of coverage and, you know, this is still has a life of evolution to go through, to get to the end. And this is just the very beginning of this project.
Mm.
And in fact, since we found a way to perhaps make this go a little faster through the approval process, you'll see something very soon that it's gonna look a little more finished.
And how many employees were you thinking it may
Well,
need?
yeah, right now, we estimated it roughly between 15 to 17 employees.
15.
We looked at right now initially. And of course, it's gonna be on a case by case basis. Where we may utilize part timers, we also may bring some folks on a per DM basis, depends on what you need, so.
Who's the targeted clientele for this assisted living?
So,
Any specific brain injury, is it like?
no, basically, well, anyone who needs some assistance, yeah, it's not, someone who is not sick enough to be in the nursing home, but, who cannot, totally live independent.
No, of course, there's gonna be a lot of things to look at, obviously, if you cannot meet two of the activities of daily living. Right, so it's all gonna be based on professionals, like example, with evaluating the individual and determining, what's best.
Yes, in assisted living facilities, there are different levels of care, right, depending on what people can do and what they cannot.
Absolutely.
Is this like the ones in Galloway, what's, on the, what is it, Jimmy Leach Road?
Yes.
That's
If-
something maybe
if
it's
I
like Chris Gall.
say something there
Chris
too, that, yeah, I have a friend that lives in there. Right now, she is young enough that her only amenity that she's taking in is food service. But there's a whole menu of other things that she's gonna be able to grow into prior to being transferred to, nursing.
More in line with that question, what types of amenities would you provide to the population?
We're thinking about, well, we'll have, with healthcare, okay, that's one, so we have, doctors going there to provide care, the physical therapists going there. There will be transportation, for those who want to see specialists wherever they need to go. So we'll have a gym there, for those who want to be active. Yeah, a cafe, yes.
We'll
Yes.
also discuss salon.
Yes, we have a beauty salon there, we'll have a chapel in there to really make people feel like they are really living what they are. Yes.
So on there, like there's 37 parking spots currently,
26 are what's needed.
okay.
Now, if I can speak to that, there aren't many standards for parking requirements for assisted living. So the Institute of Traffic Engineers, spit it out, has standards that vary from half a parking space per unit to 7,500, so about 3/4 of a parking space per unit. Right now, we're figuring out 3/4 of the space per unit, which will more than account for staff and some of the people that might have cars and so forth and so on. So there's been a lot of study on this, so it's well known that most ordinances don't address it.
Are you working in one of the facilities now?
Yeah, well, yes, I do provide care in some facilities, but I'm an independent practitioner, so I don't work for them, but I provide care at a few facilities.
And this will be your first time?
Only, yes, yes.
I don't know if you touched on the other asset of the green area on each side. Did you bring that up?
We did, but I can do that again.
Yeah.
So at either end of the site, there's currently a green area and a lot of trees in this area, so we would be invading some of that with this, with the addition, but there's still room to keep these trees back here. This area that, the other end, which is completely on the county, is completely paved.
Yeah, that's the playground. That's the basketball courts. The other side is the playground.
Right, I believe that's a 6-foot-high chain link fence.
Yeah,
It's all
It's,
up.
it's like 4 foot, but yeah.
Okay.
The one in the back by the playground is like 8
That's what,
foot.
that's one of.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that at?
Cause you see that tree on the end right there? That's my house right there.
Okay. So it'll be green space, probably mixed with some hardscaping in terms of sidewalk benches, that sort of thing, as well as the other end. And one of the thoughts is to have it just open so that it's there for the community also. We want this to be a community asset in every way, and including some of the green areas that will now be created and left open and usable as a result of this project.
And the other thing, I don't know if you touched on it, the phase 2 part, the size and units. Did you touch on that also or no?
The phase 2 part would be the same height building. It won't have all the amenities built in because they're already in the facility, in the basement of the facility existing. So it'll be the same height with 50 units proposed in it. The size of it will probably be this size or maybe a little smaller, as far as the footprint area. I'm an engineer, not an architect, so.
So what happens with parking, at that point?
Parking at that point in time includes that unit. And 46 spaces are required, and that's what we're showing for now. It's gonna look a little different. I don't really honestly like the parking, having people back out on the 9th terrace, where I think this may be one of the few areas in the world that it makes sense, because the only people across the street of the church. But that may not always stay that way. So I'm gonna further develop a parking lot that doesn't have the situation where you're backing out on the terrace. So it'll be an improvement.
I don't understand the second phase. Where are you proposing at this point for the second phase to go?
Between the existing building and.
The green area, I guess?
The bold area.
This area.
The green area?
Bold there.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
There, so the other is the existing, okay,
Correct.
is the school. It's going towards your house.
Mhm. Any other questions, comments for the doctor, his team?
None, I think we mentioned, you mentioned the tax abatement, so I think we've covered just about everything right now.
Overall, how do we feel about it as council? Any comments regarding it?
Okay, well, I'd like to hear what, they will go to the land use board, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
What kind of abatement?
Well, whatever's allowed by the ordinance, which I believe is 5 year, but there's a lot of fine print also. So,
Or existing ordinance?
yeah, the existing ordinance already has a tax abatement program in it. I'm not at this point in time able to speak in detail about what in that we would love to try to take advantage of.
And I do have one other question. In these kind of facilities, what is it supposed to be, the employee to patient at this point? Because I know there's some that are not very good, especially there's one in Galloway that I've heard some really bad things about, and I just want to say, is it what's the minimum at this point?
I'll look that up for you. I don't have the answer. I don't have the answer.
Okay.
Although, I believe might be one for 22. There needs to be a staff person. But I'll look into the point, because I know there is one I go to, I can remember conversation 1 to 22. But of course, we'll make sure we follow the rules, and also know what our competition is. So to make sure that we provide best care possible.
I'd like to make a comment. This is obviously right out of the gate here. We have discussed it before. Actually, Ryan had suggested that this would be a good fit for the community. There is a definite need for this type of service. We've all been to something somewhere and it hasn't been very good. But I feel confident that you guys will be able to do what's right for the people who are your residents there. Also, I think that when you come back to us or the land use board, we should reach out to the surrounding community, which we discussed already, Mason being one of them, and the people that live, down Chicago. And once you get a better idea of what your parking lot's gonna look like, what your everything else is gonna look like, I think it'd be a great idea to have a meeting with some of the residents.
I have questions. So, who governs or who regulates, buildings like this? And just so and not that this is comparable, but, for Braintree, we have the DEP, the development of disabilities. Who oversees or regulates anything like this?
Usually the state.
Is
The
there-
Department of Health.
The Department of Health, okay. Is there any other comparable assisted living place that you could direct me to look into to see? I'm asking strictly from the police thing, how often do they respond there, what kind of problems do they have there? So do you think it'd be something that is similar to this, so that way I can take a look, at that? Very place.
I know there's one in, Egao Township, Summers Place,
Some place?
yes. That's the one I've been, going to.
Okay.
There's one in Galloway, on Jimmy's Road. What?
That's one.
That's, okay, yes.
What one's that?
What one is it?
You should say that.
Yeah.
What's the name of that one? Not Seashore.
Seashore?
That was very nice.
How can you say the name of the company? I mean, not the company, but the building. You can just Google it if you want.
One of the better ones I know, in the way it's run, is Seacrest Village, Middle Lake Park Township.
Any other questions or comments?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I can tell you right now, I'm not thrilled looking out my front door and looking out the side of a big brick building, but, I mean.
You prefer a different type of buildings?
I mean, I know a lot of the neighbors aren't quite happy with it as of right now. But like Mayor said that, I think that you should really get the plan down, get the blueprint down, exactly what the building's gonna look like, what you expect to look like. And you should get together with all the neighbors and bring it out there, because like I said, I mean, what you talked about before, like right now I got landscaping in front of the house, that's what I was expecting, like, but I didn't expect another big building to be sitting, I might as well just move to the city if I wanted to look at a big brick building. You know what I mean? So, I mean, if we did something to address that side of the building, maybe did some like landscaping and some seats and gazebos and stuff, kind of how like the Wittenberg is right here, how it's all dressed up on the side or something like that, where it's something feasible to look at instead of just on the side of a building.
Okay, well, there are a few things we took into consideration.
Mhm.
There are a lot of,
And I'm telling you right now, the parking on Sunday
Mhm.
is insane,
well,
just for church.
wow,
Cause you can't get down St. Louis, you can't get down Six Claudius. I mean, it's a mob scene. So just to keep that in mind for, your, yeah.
yeah, so really, with the sentiments
Mhm.
attached to the building.
Mhm.
So we were thinking about, okay, well, let's try to keep that there.
Mhm.
But really, we are open to whatever makes sense.
Right.
Okay, so we are open. We want, but of course, inside will be totally innovative.
Oh, yeah.
Again, if we have to modify the outside of the building, so by all means, we'll work with the architect and to make sure that.
And my next question is, say somebody's in there for assisting living. Now, are they allowed to have relatives and family living there also?
Not living,
Okay.
they can visit.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
And of course, once we get to the point of hiring a general contractor.
Uh-huh.
Of course, they're all going to come up with suggestions.
Of course.
What would work best.
Yep.
Because our objective is to do what's right, not only for the community,
Mhm.
but also for the residents.
That's it. Yeah, I just like to see the big final plan of it before I make any kind of decision.
All right, anyone else? Thanks, Doctor. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing a more developed plan on it.
Thank you.
Well,
Oh, no. It's all like.
Take care.
Yeah.
All right. All right, moving on, Mayor, the floor is yours for your report.
Okay, just to start with, to let everyone in the public know that, the fire department received a $75,000 American Rescue Plan firefighter grant. And they can use that for a whole host of things, air packs, boots and things like that, dryer, or I think. I believe Jody submitted that grant. So we're fortunate to get that. And we did get the recreation grant that we applied for. It's $78,000 for the pickleball grant. And just so you guys know about the last recreation grant that we got was for the ADA playground equipment. And that is actually ready to go. We have the equipment. The contractor is holding until the site is prepared. Gary and Butchie and who knows who else will be removing the seesaw and placing it in another area of the playground so that we can make room for the new unit that we're getting. So that's good news too.
Is that, you're talking the Kaboom playground?
Yes, right on Buffalo Avenue. I've also been in discussion with Stefania, our representative from Triad, about applying for the CDBG grant for next year that's due in the fall. And we had discussed at a previous meeting, possibly focusing on the library or the senior center. I know the library needs a lot of work, as does the senior center. So that's something we can discuss. But in the meanwhile, I did reach out to the executive, to Denny, and he had asked if we wanted to participate in the countywide CDBG, which we normally don't, because we always get the CDBG. We've been doing pretty well with getting the CDBG grants. While we know that they are a bit expensive and, we have to pay someone to do them and then administrate them. But Ryan had suggested I ask how much would be our amount that we would get. And if it was almost what we get within the area, it might be cheaper just to go with the county. So Denny said it's $350,000. So Ryan, what do you think about that?
He said that was the max.
The maximum,
And it's typically much less than
okay,
that. So you probably get half or less of what you're getting when you apply to grant.
okay. So what's your recommendation? Go for the CDBG?
Yeah, I mean, you're spending a little bit more money each year to do the administration and all that, but you're getting a lot more to invest in your city, so.
Okay,
And it gives you control over it too, where you're not going to look for agency.
well, we just wanted to look into it, just think if we could save a little bit of money, but
Yeah, they reached out to us. So.
yeah, they reached out to us. So I will respond to Denny that we do not want to join in with the county, is that correct?
Maybe next year.
Okay, also, right here at City Hall on Tuesday, the 18th, there will be a sign up for seniors, and I hate to say that, but they're over 60. So senior signups, you can get a box of food every month. There is an income requirement. And so I have some applications here. If anyone in the public or anyone on council knows a senior, someone over 60, who may want to supplement. Is this working? Want to supplement their income, their groceries. You can take one of these, knock on their door, give it to them. Anybody else down there? Call your mom.
We have at City Hall.
Yeah. Anyone from the public, I'll leave some at the table for you. Couple other things, there's a senior food, a senior financial fraud seminar, 11 to 1 at the Zion Lutheran. So that's good. All that information is on the official Facebook page.
What's the date of that?
That is
20th.
the 20th. Do you want to speak any more on that? Because I don't have the flyer. Go ahead. You want to wait for your report? Okay. And then we have the fireworks, July 13th. Mark your calendars for that. Cedar Creek Hockey is hosting a camp for any student who wishes to participate, July 22nd. And of course, August 3rd is the citywide yard sale and the fireman's spaghetti dinner. And I think in between that, on the 10th, we have the food truck festival, which, yeah, we don't have any flyer yet, but it will be posted on Facebook. But I would recommend that everybody look at the Facebook page, because that's really the best way to find out what's going on. So since
Sign
Casey,
up for the newsletter.
and sign up for the newsletter too, very good. So Casey's not here this evening, so I will read a report for the Egg Harbor City Lake. So total bands and badges sold were 2,074 for $29,220. 63 picnics, which was $4,105. 53 boat rides, $530. Total sales to date, 33,890. Last year, the same date, 34,178. So we're $288 shy of our sales from last year, but we did have a very rainy Memorial Day. So I didn't get any notifications about the campground payment, which should be coming shortly. But one thing I wanted to talk about that has come to my attention, and I did speak to Angela about this before. I just want to get it out in the open that I have had several residents approach me and felt that the picnic tables were far too high. And actually, they're blaming the mayor for it, that the mayor is trying to keep people out of the lake. But just to put it on public record, that these decisions were made by, well, the decision for any money is city council. They vote on these things, but we did have meetings on it. Some of the employees were involved in talking about things, and the intent really wasn't to keep anybody out of the lake. But just so people know that you can reserve a table Monday through Friday for the reduced price for $25 and $50. Now, my suggestion is, because people are very upset about it, that the resident should have the opportunity to get a better price. But I would suggest that, which I suggested to Angela and she thought about it. Possibly you would have to come to City Hall Monday through Friday and still reserve your table. And you could get a discounted price for a resident, maybe 15 and 25 or whatever we feel is reasonable. So I'll just let Angela talk a little bit about that. And I feel that it could be done. I know there's a time constraint with, if it's an ordinance, it takes a little bit longer because there's certain rules you have to follow. But that's really the only complaint I've had so far. And it's quite sad that the mayor is being besmirched over this matter. But go ahead, Angela. Want to talk about that for a
Yeah,
sec?
as far as the resident versus non-resident, I did look into other municipalities who have lakes and pools, and they do have resident and non-resident fees. So if we were to implement some kind of resident, non-resident fees, and you want to put it in an ordinance, that would take 2 readings. So even if we did it at the end of June, it wouldn't go into effect until probably August, where the season's almost over. So I think it's certainly something, thank you, Mr. Lincoln. I think it's certainly something that the council and the mayor should consider, but perhaps it's too late already to do it this year. We could look at it next year, along with any other resident versus non-resident fees. Maybe we should look at the whole thing and decide if you want to implement resident versus non-resident fees, not just for the tables, for everything else?
Well, years ago, we did have that. And actually, we stopped and I stopped it, the council stopped it. Because our prices were so low to begin with that nobody really complained, you know, $5. I think years ago it was $5 and then $10 for a badge. But, you know, now the state has required so many different things that have to happen at the lake and things that have to be put there and the amount of employees you have and all that, and the trash disposal and the labor, $15 an hour and up. I mean, to get lifeguards, you have to at least start at $17 an hour or you won't get any. So it's quite expensive to do that. And I believe in the beginning of the year, we had also looked at possibly putting out an RFP for professional services, but that never did transpire. I believe Councilwoman Atenisi had suggested that. And if you're on, Councilwoman, you can certainly comment.
I'm on. Yeah, it was definitely something that we wanted to look into for possibly for the future. I know that we all met as a group to discuss the safety at the lake last season. Fees were increased to help match what local parks have, and I definitely agree. And I think we all discussed this, that we would like to see something for the residents because that lake was deeded to the residents of the city. Hopefully with the staff out there, we can have a safe season this year and look
Casey, I
into the
can't hear
fees
you.
for next year.
Here, you can't understand her. Can you turn
Yeah,
the
I
volume
can't.
up?
Yeah, either turn.
What do you want?
The volume.
So the other side to that story is that it's very difficult.
That's not all it says, it's channel, but it says arrows, it doesn't say channel on the volume.
I'm driving back from work as well, so my volume's probably cutting in and out.
Much better.
All right, try again.
I was just saying that we all did meet as a group to discuss the safety last year. We decided as a group to raise those prices to be on par with local surrounding parks. It's definitely worth looking into to have a residential rate. If that's something we can do, I think we all agree that that's what's best for the city because the lake was deeded to the residents of the city.
Right. Okay, so
I just
oh, I'm
wanted to
sorry.
add that it wasn't taken lightly when we made this decision. It was, I mean, we looked at the other lakes, how much they were, we were on par. It might even be a little under the other lakes. So we didn't take it lightly when we made this decision. Just want to let everyone know that as well.
Right. So the hard part about it also is the paperwork, upgrading the aquatic facility plan every year. The hassle at City Hall for the employees who have to keep track of all these prices. And it's when you're at the lake, when you go there, you know, you're dealing with 14-year-olds sometimes and 15-year-olds at the gate. And it's just so hard for them to keep track of all these different prices. So years ago, that's why we went with a preseason price and after Memorial Day price. So I think, I don't know how low you can go. I mean, our badge in the preseason is $15 and then it went up to 25.
Yeah, it's $15 if you come in, early.
Come in
It's
before
nothing wrong,
Memorial Day.
you know, have entertainment. $15 for the whole season. I mean, that's.
My report was, I think, 10 before and then 25 after. So
I do think, you know, the lake was created for the people of Egg Harbor City. And I think besides the badge prices, I think the picnics are really what's important because a lot of people like to go out and picnic on the weekends. And sadly, though, a lot of them don't get those tables because there's so many people coming from other communities. When those other lakes close, they all pile into Egg Harbor City. And we usually sell out of tables by, you know, 10, maybe sometimes 11, you know, if it's not a holiday. So I think the idea of making reservations Monday through Friday to secure
your picnic is really the way to go. And at that time, maybe just have a resident rate for the whole entire year, that they could come to City Hall, get a picnic and go out and barbecue. So it kind of solves all the problems in a nutshell.
That's what I was saying, Mayor. I mean, for next year, I think the council and the mayor should consider
Mhm.
a resident versus non-resident all the way down for
Yeah.
all the facilities. And make it simple so that the 14 and 15-year-olds can remember what it is and easier for the public.
That's how all the short towns are. I mean, you look at the Margate Bridge, you have what you pay to get in there, and then you have your resident fee that you would pay. It's the same thing for the beach badges. It's the same thing for the community senators.
All, they're all the same. Everybody pays the same amount.
Beach badges, preseason and.
Yeah, well,
after.
beach badges.
Season and season.
I
Yeah,
grew up in Ocean City. We as residents, we would get a beach tag for less price than you would for a person that was out of town
Yeah.
that came in.
I don't think they do that anymore, though.
No, they don't do that. It's
I remember that.
mandatory, and I don't think,
It is,
I think
yeah,
you're opening us up to a lawsuit by having a resident fee and a public fee.
Well, you're talking
It's
about
public.
beaches are different than pools and lakes, and it all boils down to who owns it.
Right.
Is
Right.
it publicly owned? Is it privately owned? And I'm sure you've been down with discrimination.
Right.
But what has happened in the whole state of New Jersey is even municipalities that own lakes, Spring Lake, I don't know, there's a lot of lakes in North Jersey, and they all charge resident versus non-resident fees. So I looked into it very deeply to see if they could even do that. So apparently, the law against discrimination doesn't apply if you do it uniformly. So if you're doing it uniformly.
Right.
Preseason, postseason, there are parameters, so it has to be carefully tuned. You can do it.
So Angela, are you trying to say that's all you can do is preseason and the season?
No, you could do
not-
resident and non-resident.
Oh, you could do
You can
that.
also do preseason and during season. There are all different ways you could do it depending on what the council and the mayor want to do.
Now, the problem with resident is if they want a resident, whatever we decide, they're gonna have to get it City Hall because I cannot,
You have to show.
you have to have ID
residency,
and,
you have
and
to have-
we cannot deal with that type of an
Not
issue.
with the ID,
Yeah.
you have to show like a bill.
A bill,
Your
yeah.
driver's license. May or may not do it anymore.
And you'll have to order different bags.
So you have
Yeah.
to have a bill
That's
in
right,
your
yeah.
name for a piece of property in a park.
Right.
And maybe not just one, maybe two, right?
But so just to be clear, Angela, is there anything we can do about the lowering the picnic tables? Quickly
Probably
or
not
not?
at this point, Mayor.
What would
For the
be,
future, certainly we can.
Is that all codified in an ordinance or did we do it by resolution?
We did the ordinance and we did the resolution. We did part of it as a resolution, some of the lesser fees, and then we codified it into the ordinance.
so how long would it actually take?
So it would take, if we did it, even if we did the ordinance by the end of the month, which would be the next meeting, end of June.
We
We
only
would have to go to one meeting in July, and then we only have one meeting in July.
Could we have a special meeting or no? Or a Zoom meeting?
Do
So
a meeting
Would that
now or-
expedite it any further?
So the feasibility of doing it is, first of all, not gonna be fair to those that whoever already purchased the tables at the prices that are already established. Secondly, the time frame is just, it's gonna be approved in August. Let's face it, it's gonna be approved in August. August is the end of the season. What sense does that make to spend the money? And the time to revise the ordinance. So we'll hold ourselves accountable, move forward for next year. Look at this ordinance. And take whatever necessary actions we need to take to rectify the situation. That's how I feel about it. So.
I agree.
Like the mayor had said, we did get more lifeguards and we weren't able to get anyone before, right? So we had to increase everything. So it wasn't as though they were just raising it just to raise it. It's basically for the health and safety of the community as well. So just want to add that. And that's all I have. Sorry to be so long.
Thank you. Sorry. Moving on to committee chair reports, so under these, So for code, I don't have anything right now. Finance redevelopment, obviously, we had that presentation from Dr. Ruffin regarding St. Nicholas property. Hopefully that comes to fruition in the near future, so we can see a little bit more detailed plans on that. And then also regarding, I know there was conversation about purchasing the PA system, which the Parks, Playgrounds and Property Committee agreed on, so that has been purchased by Jody and should be here within the next week or two. To be installed out there, and to be very clear, that PA system is not being used for music. It is simply being used to communicate with the patrons to the lake of any hazards, no swimming, severe storm pop-up, evacuation, things along those lines. And it can also be stuff to have reoccurring messages set every time throughout the day, regarding events like the Food Truck Festival, Ball Festival, things like that.
Stop diving off the bridge.
Stop diving off the bridge.
No diving off the dock.
Yeah, no large rafts inside some area, stuff like that. And also after speaking with Mr. Councilman Wright, which he may elaborate on, the fence at Key Rec and the fields is moving in a positive motion, so I'll let you elaborate on that if you want.
Want me to do it now? Yeah, sure. This complaint that we had. I don't know where it came from, but it was we got the quote. Jody sent me the quote, and I'm looking at the diagram, and I guess when Keith, drew it up, he kind of drew it around the football field, which is basically impossible to do because of the baseball field. So I met with him today, and actually he's a good buddy of mine. He used to do the work for a company that I used to get the railings from. And so we came up with a game plan where it's gonna come down to one side down Beechwoods. I'm sorry, down Buffalo. And then towards the stand, and then from the stand to the alley. And then we're gonna get a wide gate that I can put across the alley that I can keep open during the week so the trash bin and everybody can get back there. But also I can swing it shut during game day, so everybody will stop parking all over the Pee Wee field and all back by the baseball field and all that stuff, and getting stuck back there because it's a swamp back there when it rains. And so needless to say, he said pretty much the square footage is probably going to pretty much be roughly about the same, but he had to redo the quote and basically re-talk to the manufacturer again and get back to us as soon as he can.
Can you tell me why you need a fence there?
Why? Because one, it keeps the players and the fans separated. Because without the fan, even though we have the ropes there, within 2 seconds, you'll be coaching the game, you turn around, half the parents run the football field. The concession stand, down by the concession stand, is a real concern because if you're coaching the game and you're turning around, a touchdown being scored before you know it, half of Egg City's on the football field. Now that's
It's like a 4-foot fence?
yeah, just like the playground, no bigger than that, just to keep the, like I said, the kids separated from the fans. Hopefully, God forbid, something that did ever happen out of there, make our job a little bit easier to get the kids to safety, rather than everybody running into their parents. We do our drills with the kids where we take the kids for safety issues and stuff like that. But being a parent myself, the first thing you do, you want to grab your kid and get that, but we want to be able to make sure that we can have them all in the same spot so we can have all the kids accounted for, God forbid, if something ever did happen. So that's pretty much the reason.
Mason,
Yes,
doesn't having a fence also afford us the ability to host like the playoff games and the championship games?
we could do the playoffs games. I mean, we're never, the field basically would basically have to be completely gated in, with only really one access in and one access out to be able to host like a championship game, because the championship games and the all-star games, there's an entry fee. So we probably wouldn't be able to qualify for that because it's still open. You can still get through the baseball fields and all of that. And then the all-star games have to be done at a high school field.
Thank you.
Yeah, but it will help also to be able to do more sponsors, to have places to hang or the banners when but the Little League field, when we have baseball, we used to go up to Route 50 there and get a sign made for $200 was the donation. We would hang the sign, and then every year was $100 donation. But it was a little 5-foot by 5-foot sign that we could hang on the outfield. Football, we got nowhere to hang anything. I mean, I've got 6 championship banners that I can't even put up because I have nowhere to put them. So it'll help with that and hopefully generate a little bit more money for the kids for our sponsorship wise goes and. So. And plus, we're like the only field in South Jersey, maybe in Jersey, that doesn't have a fence around it.
And how is this fence going to be funded?
It's through the.
$300,000
Yeah,
set aside from the sale of the Seder treatment facility.
Yeah. That's money that's already in the Crusaders account from the. Work plan.
Thanks. The only other thing I have for finance is, so EDC reached out to me regarding the food truck festival. The food truck inspection permit fees are $75. They're asking council to consider lowering that fee back down to $54 for the food truck festival for each individual truck's application for permit of inspection. It's up to you guys if you want to do it. Right now, we're at $75. So they're saying that I don't want to go into too much detail, but they're just asking if we can lower it back down to 54 for the event. So anybody have any comments regarding this?
Excuse me, which
know what-
event is this? Which event?
Food truck festival.
Do we know like any prices from like what Hamilton charges or?
So I can tell you state code minimum $74. They range anywhere between $54 to $75 per municipality.
Gotcha.
So.
I mean, I'll find it if it's gonna help generate
We
more.
raised it in ordinance.
We did raise it in our ordinance.
Uh,
Yeah,
I know they came in for the last festival.
Last year, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
and we lowered it for them then.
Yeah, because it was,
I think it was.
gone in the
Yeah.
middle of the year and,
So I need a resolution for this.
right, depends on what you would do.
What's the resolution for, to just lower it for this one event?
For the food truck festival.
And it's a resolution, it's not in an
Correct.
ordinance.
Any opposition to it or any comments, further comments regarding this?
Do you think we're better to adjust our ordinance if we're, because everything.
We can explore that after the fact.
Eventually, yeah, eventually.
Because we're only a month and a half out from the food truck festival.
Right.
Well, is this
Well,
a state, is it a state fee, state fire fee?
State minimum fee is $54 by
$54.
state, New Jersey Administrative Code 570.
So the other portion of it is the city keeps that? Is that how it
The
works?
city keeps all of it.
Okay, so my thought is that if it's, which I stated, I believe in one email about something, that if it's something that the city collects, the council, just like Lincoln Park or whatever, you have even though it's an ordinance, you have the ability to waive a fee as long as it's not going to the state. So I don't know if an ordinance would even be necessary, because I don't remember having an ordinance last year and I think we reduced it.
Last year we completely changed the ordinance with.
It was the
recommendation of
recommendation of the fire.
It
So-
was the recommendation of the fire official.
Right, so to waive the fee, I would not suggest because that fee actually pays the fire official to do his job.
Right.
So if they have 20 trucks out there times $54, you're looking at $1,080, right?
Right.
No, to waive the difference between the 75.
Right, exactly.
But then we're talking about.
Yeah, I want
just-
money lower.
Just for this event, or you want to
Yeah,
wait
right.
for everything?
I would say just this event.
Just an event for event, right? Is that what you were, is that what?
That's what I would think would be the best situation, but
Event, per event.
yeah, council can consider anything.
Yeah.
We only have three.
It's not a city, no, that's not a city,
It's not directly.
yeah.
And he doesn't actually collect that money. He gets paid by the city. He gets a stipend. I realize it helps pay that stipend, but he doesn't directly put that money in his pocket. So he, in theory, or fact rather, is not losing any money.
So if you're inclined to do that, then I wouldn't need a resolution for that, just for that, for this event.
Anybody opposed to it?
I'm not opposed.
Waive the 20 wasn't,
Make a motion.
No, lower the fee.
lower the fee to $54. Yeah, if nobody's opposed to
Like
it,
$26.
for this event, yes.
Make a motion.
I have a motion by Councilman, second by Councilman Wright. I have roll call.
Atenesi,
Yes.
Galloway,
Yes.
Hesse,
Yes.
Timbers,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Ritchie.
Yes. All right, that's all I have.
I have a couple questions for you, Joe, because
Sure.
I wasn't planning on bringing it up. But I did read your email pertaining to the PA system,
Sure.
and I did reach out to you to see if you were free for a call, but I guess you weren't. But I don't recall discussing this at a Parks and Playgrounds meeting. I think the last one Casey had was canceled. So I just was wondering how this came about, and I'll tell you how I heard about it.
Sure, Councilman Anthony, can you clarify when this was discussed?
We discussed this when we met with Kathy's Kitchen. I know that you opposed it, but you advised us that we could do what we see fit, and we all discussed and agreed that we wanted to look into the price for the PA system.
No, I don't recall that actually. Maybe that was a different meeting that I wasn't at. I believe we talked about with Kathy, we talked about not having
We did,
music
we
playing,
did talk about that.
We
right?
did, and then we brought up the PA
So-
system.
I mean, that was the whole reason why the PA system basically came up, because of what we were talking about, the problems we were having with the picnic tables.
Yeah, but the first time I heard about it, and just to address your email, was when we had our staff meeting here, our staff orientation meeting. And Donna was in attendance and she said, we were talking about the new ordinance that it's only personal listening devices only. And Donna had said, oh no, we're gonna put a PA system in and we're gonna, have music. Jackie, you were there. Am I making it up?
No, that's what was said.
So that's why I was
Yeah,
against
nothing
that.
about music was ever even mentioned when we talked about the PA system. We were just talking about basically for safety issues and basically for announcements, or basically, because, I mean, I don't go to the lake as often as my wife does, but when my wife does, she goes all the way down to the end where the little boats are, and she says she barely can hear the megaphone when something goes off, unless they're standing at the main lifeguard stand, you know what I mean? So that was why it got brought up basically, so, it can be spread around, God forbid, if there's, a severe storm coming through, or, there's a severe emergency that happens out there.
Just to address that, first of all, the PA system's not gonna go across the lake, if you're thinking about that. It's beneficial to have something like that, I totally agree.
So has there been a PA system there installed where it has been heard across the lake, or are we going off assumption?
I mean, it doesn't have to be. heard.
I'm not
I
an
think you just gotta hear it
engineer, I don't know,
down the lake.
but anyway,
Yeah.
nonetheless,
No, I got you.
usually they'll whistle the people who have dogs in across the lake or whatever. I'm not trying to be, I would like to finish what I'm saying, I'm not trying to be cantankerous. I'm just trying to express some things that are a concern and to relieve, some of the fears that people may have about safety out there. So we have an aquatic facility plan, which is very detailed and is required by the state. In that plan, there's an emergency action plan where if there is an emergency, let's say whatever, lightning is coming or someone has a passive drowning or whatever, there's a plan that the 4 whistles gets people out of the water, and it goes on from there. It's very detailed, whatever. So in that respect, it's easier for the lifeguards who are on duty watching the water not to run back to the stand to do these types of things. So they have the bullhorns and they're pretty expensive bullhorns. Right, chief? I always get the best, but not the little crappy ones. We bought new ones again this year. I have 2 brand new ones that do work and it gets the kids off of the dock. So, I just wanted to make that clear that we have protocol out there. We have, radios, we have, the EAP and numerous other things. We have a chief lifeguard out there now. We have the supervisor who's certified out there now. So people don't have to worry about not being safe. But when this was spoken at the meeting, I was really shocked and I just said, no, I didn't hear about that, but we're not going to play that music out there because it really wouldn't be fair. But another suggestion I have, getting off of that soapbox, it's come to my attention, and Mace, you would know this better than me, that Crusaders is in need of a new PA system.
Correct.
Could we not look into maybe something for there too? I mean,
Yes, but, I mean, we've talked about it, but right now my plate is so full, basically going back and forth with this scoreboard, trying to get the scoreboard finally got an email back the other day that they're going on schedule to the 24th. Trying to get the fence going like that. Right now, the PA system works,
Mhm.
so it's kind of not like majority
I mean-
thing right now, and right now, this is like my time to try to get the uniforms and stuff like that, but it is something that,
Right,
that we're looking forward to eventually to purchase.
right. Maybe that can be incorporated into the $300,000
Yes.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's really all I have. Thank you.
Oh, on that scoreboard, yeah, when I reached out to those folks, I asked them if they could.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, right, so I'm happy that.
Yeah, finally that they responded, because that's my biggest headache going on right now,
Yeah.
trying to get that done.
Weather is good now, so there was no reason for them to delay it any longer. And I said, you know, we're gonna have fair weather, I have my weather app.
Mhm.
And, you know, I'm glad that they finally agreed to come out.
All right, moving on. Councilwoman Anthony, do you have anything for property parks, playgrounds, or school board?
No, I just wanted to add that the changes that are made and things like the PA system are not saying that things are not safe or not good as they are. We just want to enhance things and to make things the best that we can. For school board, they had their last meeting during the school year. Yesterday, I wasn't able to attend. The boys had a baseball game. But I wanted to just thank all the teachers for all their hard work, all the school officials and all the support staff, and just be safe out there because all the kids are going to be out playing in the neighborhoods. And that's all I have.
Thank you. You have anything for you too?
No.
Councilman Timmers, you have anything for land use or Aaron Haven?
Nothing to report.
Meg, anything for Joe? Rotary,
I just want to say that Roden gave out 2 checks to the 8th grade boy, an 8th grade boy and girl for their academic achievement and civil activities yesterday. That's all I have.
thank you. Anything for sustainable?
Not right now. This is kind of our slow time of year, but hopefully in July, I'll be able to give a more detailed report about our tree grants and what's happening with them. Hopefully soon. And one thing, Nanette, the principal, Dr. Forrester, reached out to me. It wants to renew her certification. Apparently it went by the wayside. What to say, sustainable?
Yes,
nursing school?
she's
That's
hiring a
different from
new,
us.
she's hiring a new teacher who is interested in that. So I don't know if you can give her any pointers. or
Yeah,
whatever.
but that's, they.
I know it's separate. I
It's
thought I dropped papers off over there explaining that, but if you have any more, you know,
We
any
can
of those
do together.
brochures that, you know,
We have stuff we can do together.
okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Chief. Welcome.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I'll be brief.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Take your time. I ate dinner already.
I didn't.
So,
I'm just joking.
few numbers for you. Since the last meeting, the 23rd of May, we have had 2 fraud reports, 1 CDS narcotics activity report, 2 stolen motor vehicles, 7 thefts, 9 motor vehicle accidents, 12 pedestrian stops, 229 traffic stops. We've had a total of 11 arrests, including 1 DUI, 10 business alarms, 6 residential alarms, 200 prevention activities, 1 call for criminal mischief, 5 domestics, 24 EMS incidents, 4 firearms ID applications, 11 follow-ups, 777 property checks, and 15 public service calls, for a total of 1,572 calls for service over that time period from the 23rd through today. During that time period, you may have noticed an increase in car stops. We did do the Click It or Ticket initiative. It was the statewide initiative, ran through May 20th through June 2nd. We also did a vehicle inspection checkpoint on the 7th. That was out at Hamburg Avenue. So anybody who had an inspection that was near expired had the opportunity to go ahead and pull in absolutely free of charge to go get their vehicle inspection renewed. And unfortunately, if you were expired or had issues, then you were issued a ticket, but you did all then have the opportunity to go through and get your inspection done as well. We had the annual torch run, the law enforcement torch run for the kickoff of the Special Olympics games. That was on the 7th. I did not run this year. I'm getting a little old, but we did have officers who have to run in part of Egg Harbor City. It's always a great thing to see all the officers running from it. Like our branch goes from the city all the way to like Cherry Hill or Marl Central. So officers run a stretch of the White Horse Pike and raise money to donate to Special Olympics. We had on the 20th, I did not get to speak about this. We had our Community Cares event, which had the New Jersey ports there to help with expungements. Narcan is being given out. We give away 250 hot meals donated by Piccolo Inn. Our next event will be on July 10th at Lincoln Park. Mayor Jim Petty mentioned the elder fraud training that will be held at Zion Lutheran June 20th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. That is a program that has been coordinated by Atlantic County Prosecutors Outreach and the Coalition for Safe Community. The FBI comes in and does a presentation specifically for senior citizens to help them identify potential scams and ways that they can be taken advantage of and lose money. I do also have to say congratulations to any graduates. Cedar Creek had their graduation last night. The community school had their graduation today. Congratulations to any other students in Egg Harbor City who go to any other district schools or ACICD. That being said, school will be out after tomorrow afternoon for all of our schools. I urge people to please drive safely. Watch out for kids. Everybody's going to be out and about. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody have anything for Jody? No?
No.
Good.
I have nothing.
City clerk?
Nothing.
Angela, anything?
No, hi, Mr. Ritchie, thank you.
All right, Ryan?
Gotta be that guy.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a proposal for the design of 400 and 500 blocks of Buffalo Avenue. We got 2024 state aid money to do that. We got the award a couple months ago, so now we just need to get out there and do the survey and design. Get out the bid and get out the construction. So the proposal will be for the full, literally beginning to end. So that is kind of what number 15 says. It kind of got mushed together. The other part of what 15 is referring to is a municipal application for fiscal year 2025. We typically select a road to do that. I have a couple potential recommendations. I would like to get a resolution support for it. If you guys want to change your mind and reboot to a different one, there's another meeting between now and when it's due, but the applications are due July 1st. And our next meeting until the 27th, so that'll be a little tight to get started. So yeah. So one possibility is Eastwick Street from Bremen to Baltimore. We got that section. It's currently a dirt road. We actually have a permit to fully construct it. We did that when we built Eastwick from Baltimore to New Orleans around the time the school was constructed. So it would be pretty straightforward. Like I said, it's already permitted, so it wouldn't be overly complicated. Another possibility is Camp Street from Bremen to Antwerp. That section has a bunch of areas of base failure that kind of fall apart. And that one doesn't have any curb or sidewalk or anything, so we could literally just go through, do base repair and overlay it. So it'd be, we get a lot further distance than we do doing a dense city block. Neither of them would have sidewalk. So I mean, yeah, I think either candidate.
And that's at one.
This would be fiscal year 2025, which the applications are due. July 1st.
Where exactly again? Is it not going to have sidewalk?
So neither of them would. It's Eastwick Street from Bremen Avenue to Baltimore Avenue and Camp Street from Bremen Avenue to Antwerp.
They're both in desperate need of being done.
Yeah. Well, one is literally a dirt road. That's
Yeah,
all
it
it's
is
ever been.
literally.
The other one's
Other is reverts to a dirt road pretty quick.
Duster where it's heavily traveled because of the school.
Right.
Yes. If
And
you plug in
also-
directions, that's the way your GPS takes you. So
It's not only for the school, but also for World Class Flowers, because they have they got their trailers coming down there, come down Baltimore and turn down there.
right, to get into their driveway, which is right across.
Yeah, and then Camp has that drops it in. Yes.
Yeah. You have some pretty significant areas of base failure. So we would have to go in and like add some DGA or do some oil stabilization in those areas, and then you can just.
Now we can only pick one.
I mean, we could do both. The funding's not gonna be able to pay for
Well, I got you.
But I mean, if you want to put in for both and we don't get enough to do both, we could always just modify the scope limits and peel it back. So
Are there any other grant opportunities besides that one?
not really for road construction.
Well, Joe just brought up a point about the tractor trailers. Remember, we talked about that grant? We could have had that
So,
grant. Well, you can get a
There-
grant
There's a
for a
local freight
road, yeah.
impact
Mhm, great.
grant that you can apply for. You need to do a full traffic study because you need to demonstrate that you have a minimum of 10% traffic, truck traffic.
Mm.
So if there's 100 cars, at least 10 of them have to be trucks in order to qualify for this grant. I think there's a couple of stretches that might work. The problem is that most of them are county roads. If there is significant tractor trailer traffic on that stretch of Easterway, I mean, it's possible. We would just have, but you have to do the traffic counts in order to.
Well, you said that was pretty straightforward. Joe could do them right out in front of his house, right?
Simply, you literally have to like, you got a camera that counts it at the intersections, or you literally put someone there in a lawn chair with the counter. And they.
There you go. There he is, right there.
Upper deck.
There you go. Good observations. So I mean, there's the possibility of applying for that one, but it's hard. As much as 10% doesn't sound like a lot. It's a lot.
And another concern that I had also, since you're talking about streets, also the terraces, there's some terraces like behind, what was that terrace on that Gary was complaining
I know
about?
there's some sections.
13th
like
terrace?
13th that are awful.
13th is
Yeah,
destroyed,
there's that.
destroyed.
Some of them that are.
Yeah,
I reached out to New Jersey American Water because we've been purposely avoiding the streets and terraces. And they said that they are still trying to get their hands around it. They have some water main replacement scheduled. They just finished all their visual inspections of all the manholes. And now they're working on videoing all the sanitary sewer lines. So their capital plan is not yet fully developed. And I was very frank with them. I said, look, we were planning on you guys doing some streets and terraces because we know you're gonna have to replace a lot of main and sewer and water.
Right.
So he was, kind of saying like, oh, well, could you tell us what streets you're doing? And then maybe we could do the work. And I was like, that's not how it's.
and they're doing a lot of work. Now, what's the procedure if they open the road? Because I know we got that
If they
at
do a
Silver
full
Buildings.
trench, they have to restore the road.
Well, I don't know what that is, but
They would have to mill it over.
no, I mean a full trench. I don't know what
What's
that
that?
is.
They apply for the permits.
Oh, yeah, if
Jackie,
if
So
they
the
come in
permit,
for-
the permit would trigger that?
Yeah, if they come in for a street opening permit, then we go through the restoration requirements with it. But I
Oh, good,
was just telling
okay.
Joe earlier, we just signed off on our like 84th or 85th street.
Yeah, there's a lot of
So they're
street
doing
opening,
a
yeah,
ton of work,
they are.
replacing meters and all that. And the focus of their water main replacement so far has been in South Lake Harbor. And that's primarily because of the type of water main that was installed there. It was installed in like the 50s, 60s when they were using asbestos concrete pipe, which we found out later turns into like gelatin.
Yeah.
Over time, which is not great for water main.
Mhm.
So they have targeted all that and they're replacing all that first. So that they can not have to deal with all the headaches that poses. And then, once that is done, they will circle back to the city portion where there are old cast iron 4-inch and 6-inch mains. So once they're done with the ACP, they'll do all the 4-inch, once they're done with the 4-inch, they'll do all the 6-inch. And that will be their plan ultimately, but they do not have a forecast for what, where yet. So I tried to push and say like, look, even if you could just give me like areas, like this section we're gonna do over the next 2 years. I
Yeah,
don't need an exact date and time for all that they're trying to do, just help me out here. So I sent that email this afternoon, you'll see.
and I'm pretty sure on camp, they're not gonna put in they're not doing any work on that because remember we requested that they put the
So
next
all,
sewer in there.
all
right?
the utilities in that portion of the town, yeah, there are none in that stretch
Nothing,
of camp.
there's nothing.
On that section of Deesterwig, all the utilities are like the 1990s or newer, so they're not gonna replace that anymore.
Right.
So if we're doing streets anywhere, those are safe bets that New Jersey American's not gonna make.
So Easterwig already has infrastructure?
No,
I believe that there is
oh,
water main.
water,
down-
yeah.
Yeah.
They have water,
that-
yeah.
That section, yeah.
And there's
And it's-
buildable lots on that stretch.
There are 3 buildable lots at the corner of Raymond Avenue. I would bet you if you pave that street, they'll probably develop those houses.
Yeah, they will.
Because those people have been to the board numerous times
Yep.
trying to get a waiver from curbs and sidewalks and constructing the road. That's been the financial obstacle.
Well, that sounds, I mean, as bad as Camp Street is, Easterwig sounds like it's more feasible to do.
Well, we could do both under a single application, or you can apply for a priority 1 and priority 2. And I advised for many years to never do a priority 2. We had the first municipality, I think, ever get the priority 2 road. A year ago. So, I mean, you could structure it with both in one or do 2 applications, either is doable.
Why don't we just do both in one and see what we get?
That's what I'm saying, see what you get.
Yeah, you can always do that, and if it's close, you can supplement the difference. or,
Yeah,
you know.
you can-
Yeah, roll the dice.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll.
Cause they both need it.
So I need a resolution support to submit an application for the reconstruction of Deeswick Street from Bremen Avenue to Baltimore Avenue and Camp Street from Bremen Avenue to Antwerp
And you would say that.
Street. Yes, obviously.
That's number 15. We're not gonna get to that right now.
15A and 15B.
Yeah, that will, exactly, that will be the second.
Yeah.
The first was the design. the second is
15A,
that.
15B.
Next is the third terrace. We finally got a second quote, and it's worth waiting for because it was thousands of dollars lower than the other one. So that is number 16, the non-fair and open. It's only called non-fair and open because we went out and got quotes. It exceeds the 17.5. Jody's a QPA, so she can award up to 41,000, wherever it is now. You just have to call it non-fair and open and advertise it that way. It's still, it's still the best way. Last thing is brownfield redevelopment applications. We met with a representative from DEP. We reviewed 2 potential sites. One was over by the Acme, Betterville door site, and a couple of vacant parcels over there. The other was out in the industrial park where the unenclosed landfill is, and there are numerous other undocumented or poorly documented waste areas. If we get a brownfield redevelopment designation, it opens significant funding opportunities for investigation, remediation, and assistance in bringing in redevelopers. But the application is fairly intensive, so I had just prepared a proposal. It would be like $9,500 per application, with 2 of them would be 19,000 total. To prepare those applications and work with steering committees that are required. All that. For context, your DCA applications you've been submitting are like, what, 15 or 18,000 a piece? So it's like half of that. But that's the last thing.
You need that tonight?
I would just need an indication that the city is committed to moving forward with the applications, and we'll keep moving because they're due on July 31st.
Okay.
I don't need a formal authorization on funds. We can figure that out. I just need to know that the city definitely wants to move forward.
So Ryan, when we met with Alan that day, we discussed how that could be tied into the Weisbecker project too.
Yeah,
We'll pay for
that
that.
property would get lumped in with the one,
Yeah.
the gateway. Should be the Acme property, the former gas station, Paul Castro site, the gas station out front there. The Betterville door site, the vacant site right across New York Avenue on the same corner. Another vacant site like 2 blocks down, that's next to a restaurant that I believe is still closed. And then the Weisbecker site. So all of them would be grouped into a single brownfield redevelopment area. Which again unlocks a lot of funding opportunities and opportunities are not available without that designation.
Anyone opposed to us moving forward?
I just have a question about the Weisbecker. Now, are you saying that if we were to go forward with this and include the Weisbeckers, in that, so we would not be funding it, the Weisbeckers, knocking that
Right.
down or not?
So we're still trying to get a straight answer back on whether there's funding available for the demolition or not. If you include it in the brownfield redevelopment area, it qualifies for funding for other things, certainly. We still don't have a straight answer on whether it qualifies for demolition. But it would qualify for the redevelopment planning, bringing somebody else in, any other remedial work that would need to be done. It helps, it presents funding opportunities for prospective redevelopers, like infrastructure they need to invest in, they can get part grants to help them move their project forward. So it helps you, the goal of it is to take underutilized and undeveloped sites that were once commercially viable and are not now because of contamination or their affiliation with a contaminated site. So the core of it would be the Paul Castro site, which is the gas station and Weisbecker site, and then the surrounded properties are the ones that are also impacted by that sort of negative draw.
But my question to you is, if we were moving forward with this and including the Weisbecker site, then we would say, we're not going to move forward with paying to knock that down. Is that what we're talking about here?
It might still behoove you, because it's an attractive nuisance, to move forward with that and demolish that. I would still recommend that you pursue that, whether this opportunity comes forward or not. Because it would be a couple of years before a redeveloper would be in place to try to take over that site. So I don't think you want to deal with that site for the next couple of years, waiting for this process to play out. I would still recommend moving forward with that. Like I said, separately, we were waiting for an answer. We were advised that there is the potential for a funding opportunity to assist with demolition, but we got conflicting information as to whether it would be grant and loan or just loan. If it's just a loan, why bother? We'll just knock it down. If it's a grant and loan, maybe we'll take it and then just pay off the loan early and cash it. So we're waiting just for an answer for that. separately.
That's a good idea. You can have a loan.
Well, if it's the grant and loan combo, then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
that's all I have.
I do have one other question for you.
Sure.
There's 2 trees at the Wawa that are no longer living. Yes. And they are none than that young. I was just wondering who takes care of that? How does that work?
There is a 2-year, they have to post a maintenance bond for 2 years after the project is completed. We do a maintenance guarantee inspection at the end, right before the end of that 2 years. In anticipation of them requesting the release of their bond. In that inspection, we'll tell them like, look, this handicap ramp is falling apart, this needs to be redone, these trees are dead, all that kind of stuff. All of the bonded site work we review, and they have to fix it before we release the bond.
But Ryan, is it really gonna be done? Cause I heard that story before about the Dollar General.
They did, they
Well,
replaced.
they still
and
have
they
dead
tried to get-
trees.
I know. Well,
So dead, they're dead.
we did the maintenance bond, they did replace them, and then we released the bond and they died again. Actually, I think they
What's the
all died
deadline?
after they had the fire. What's that?
What's the maintenance bond deadline?
I don't know off the top of my head. We track them in our office. So my chief inspector has a whole log of like when they all are. Yeah, it's 2 years from when we release the performance bond, which is essentially when everyone's signed off that all the work is done and the project is full function. So you
it's been a
release the
year.
performance bond and you get a maintenance bond to replace it.
It's a year.
Yeah, we gotta begin.
This was in July, right?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. I think
It
it was
opened in
summer.
June, probably 2 years ago.
Well, when the store opened and when we released their performance bond do not always
Right.
correspond.
Right.
Because to get off the performance bond, there's always corrective work, and they had to replace some concrete and do some other things.
Could you check on that date, please?
Yeah,
And let
yeah,
me
we-
know, because they should at least be informed now, because there's planting seasons. You don't just plant a tree and.
Oh, yeah, you know,
year.
we're dropping in the middle of
So,
August.
I mean, the ideal time to replace them was in the spring,
But
but
September,
now it's in the
October.
fall.
Yeah.
So if they could do it in the fall.
Yeah.
They'd be sitting pretty for next spring.
Yeah, I agree. And getting back to the Dollar General, we actually have continued to issue them letters of non-compliance with their site plan. They have been less than receptive most of the time, but we did get some remediation on the basin once, and now it's happened again. So we just issued a letter for that. So we'll have to circle back to the trees on that.
Okay.
Anybody else? All right, so let's move into the resolutions. Resolution 14. Renew liquor licenses from July 1st of this year through June 30th of next year, that there are 9 plenary retail consumption, 4 plenary retail distribution. Are there any questions regarding any of these?
Another one was added, right?
At 1400 Whitehurst Pike, it's on there.
Thank you.
If not, may I have a motion
I'll
to?
make a motion.
Second. Second.
Second.
A second.
All in favor?
Hi.
Thank you. Resolution, what Ryan was speaking of, authorize RB to submit for fiscal year 25 NJDOT municipal aid application for a combination app of Easter Way and Camp Street. May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, sorry, roll call. Okay.
Tanisi? Yes.
Galloway,
Yes.
Hesse,
Yes.
Timbers,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Ritchie.
Yes. 15B, authorize RB of design proposal for 400 and 500 block of Buffalo Avenue. May I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Atenisi,
Yes.
Galloway,
Yes.
Hesse,
Yes.
Timbers,
Yes.
Wright,
Yeah.
Ritchie.
Yes. 16, resolution authorize the award of non-fair and open contract for the purchase of third terrace drainage improvements. Any questions or comments? I have a motion. Second,
Second.
roll call, please.
Atenisi,
Yes.
Galloway,
Yeah.
Hesse,
Yes.
Timbers,
Yes.
Wright.
Yeah.
Ritchie.
Yes, resolution authorizing the sale of surplus personal property no longer needed for public use on an online auction website. Any questions or comments? May I have a motion?
Make a motion. Second.
Roll call, please.
Atenisi,
Yes.
Galloway,
Yes.
Hesse,
Yes.
Timbers,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Ritchie.
Yes. 18, resolution accepting the terms of the contract entered into by the SJPC for electricity. Any questions or comments? May I have a motion?
I make a motion.
Roll call, please.
Atenisi,
Yes.
Galloway,
Yes.
Hesse,
Yes.
Timbers,
Yes.
Wright.
Yes.
Ritchie.
Yes. Number 19 is a public hearing. May I have a motion to open a public hearing for ordinance 10 of this year, amending chapter 89 titled Alcoholic Beverages, Article 3 titled Licenses of the Code of the City of Egg Harbor.
Make a motion.
Second.
Open the public. Anybody from the public would like to speak on ordinance number 10 of this year? Going once, going twice. Motion to close.
Make a motion.
Second.
All right, may I have a motion to adopt.
Make a motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Atenisi,
Yes.
Galloway,
No.
Hesse,
Yes.
Timbers,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Ritchie.
Yes. May I have a motion to advertise the adoption of number 10 of this year in the Hampton Gazette on June 19th. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone like to make a motion to pay the bills?
Make a motion.
Wait a minute, Mr. Ritchie?
Yeah.
The brownfield. What do we do about that?
Oh, yeah.
I don't need a
Need a
formal
resolution.
authorization, I just need a
I
commitment.
thought we already agreed on it.
All right, we're.
Yeah, we agreed on that. Let's discuss it.
You want to do a resolution? Just, you need.
We can wait till
prefer-
next meeting for
Yeah,
the
right.
proposal part. I just need to know so we can do it easy.
Oh, yeah, when we were talking about. it.
Okay, I wasn't clear.
Brown.
Wasn't just me. Cool, thank you.
All right, so back to the bills. Anyone want to make a motion?
Make a motion. Second.
Roll call, please.
Atenisi,
Yes.
Galloway,
Yes.
Hesse.
Yes.
Timbers.
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Ritchie.
Yes, Mayor, the floor is yours for the last comments.
Just congratulations to all the graduates. I had the opportunity to attend 2 graduations and they were just awesome. We do have a lot of good kids in Egg Harbor City and a lot of good schools. And I think that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see, Councilman Wright.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. I said it last night and pretty much said it to all the kids today. Congratulations. The sky's the limit for you guys, and girls. Just don't let anybody tell you your dreams can't come true. Just do you. Like I said last night, God bless. Also, with that being said, that the Crusaders football signups are still going on every Tuesday and Thursday night from 6 to 7:30. Sign up before July 1st. There's basically a $50 reduction fee or savings, I should say. So get on out because I know how it is in Egg Harbor City. Everybody waits to the last minute, but you're making my life hard because I have deadlines. So if you plan on getting signed up, please get signed up because they're begging me for rosters and unfortunately, Egg Harbor City can't wait until the last minute, but
Mace, I didn't see that information on the official Facebook page. Could you make sure that gets posted on there, please?
yes.
Thanks.
Anything else?
No,
Sure.
I think so.
Okay. Councilman Timbers.
Like everyone said, first I'm gonna start and say I want to thank all of the city's graduates. One in particular, which is my son, who graduated. So I got the graduation, and one of the things that I would be remiss if I didn't state it. Cedar Creek is awesome. We had over 200 seniors and college acceptances were over like 200 universities. We had from the Ivies, we even had military academies. I'm not talking about people enlisting, I'm talking, we have people going to the academies.
Right.
And I do know some of the, at least one kid who did enlist in the Army. That kid was accepted into Harvard
Wow.
from Cedar Creek and decided to enlist. And you know, the way times are right now, you know, I was like, because he's one of my son's friends from when he was a kid. I bought the kid's first bicycle. And I couldn't be more proud of him. Yet be more terrified, you know, for him, his parents, everything, because it's just the way it is. But I know statistically, it's gonna be fun. And all the other kids, I was just so impressed. And I wanted to say thank you to them for all the hard work they did, because as parents, you're terrified. You know, I hear like in Chicago, they have to give the big hurrah for 8th grade, because there's no guarantee that they're gonna graduate from high school. And to see what we do in Cedar Creek athletically, academically, school's awesome. Man, it's like having a private school for free. Everybody gets a scholarship, you know? I know, it's like everybody gets a scholarship, it's still kind of amazing. And so I just wanted to give a shout out to each and every one of them.
Thank you. Councilwoman Antonisi, didn't forget you this week.
Thanks, I appreciate that. My family and I had the opportunity to attend the summer kickoff, and I just wanted to thank the EDC, Karen, Keith, and everybody involved for all of your hard work. It was such a nostalgic event. It was a wonderful time. And so thank you for all your hard work that goes into that and everybody that was involved. I also wanted to congratulate all the graduates and all of the parents, because I know it's a lot of hard work to get the kids to and from everything. And it's like your final reward to get them to graduation. So congratulations, guys. And that's all I have tonight.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hesse.
I just also would like to congratulate all of our graduates for their hard work, and the 8th graders going to high school. I wish them all the best, and the high schoolers, seniors graduating, and going to college, the same, and just moving on with their lives. I also would like to say, don't forget to put your flags up tomorrow. It's Flag Day. That's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilwoman Galloway.
Yes, I just want to let everybody know, we just put out our newer versions of our brochures for Sustainable Jersey. If anybody's interested, I have extras here. We did use some of the photos from the photo contest in the brochure. So I think that's really nice that we have our own local photos in here. Congratulations to all the graduates at every level, including our college graduates. And happy Father's Day.
Yeah.
to all the dads out there.
Then I just want to let you know, still have one of the prizes in the office. We can give it back to you.
Oh, who is
Or
it?
I'm not sure which one. I think it was 3rd place or show. One of them is actually in our office. So.
Okay,
And we have no contact information, so.
all right, I'll get it. That's it. Thank you.
Oh, thanks. I'd just like to finish up. Yeah, congratulations to all the graduates out there, especially the parents. I'm sure it's bittersweet. My first one, I'll be there in about 10 years, and I got, the next one in about 18 years. But congratulations to you all. Great job out there. So with that, I will turn it as soon as I open up to public comments. Yeah, and then also have Father's Day to everybody. Even to those moms that act like dads, you guys are our backbones. If it wasn't for you, I don't know where we would be and where I would be. So, with that, I'd like to open it up to public comment. Anybody from the public like to come up and speak?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Keomi Fuentes. I'm here in regards to one of the topics you guys talked about, the Lake of Avon City. I just wanted to say that it's disheartening to see how quick it was shut down when it was brought up to bring a different price about the lake. That is the only thing Egg Harbor City has for these kids and the families, to see the posts on Facebook of them going to Lake Lenape and the beach. It makes no sense when we have a lake here. If it could be done, but whenever it comes to the food pantry, we can have these shut down, closed meetings for them. or whenever it comes to code enforcement, we can have meetings for them. I think we could have a separate meeting for this league. It could be done, even if it is just a month, it could be done. That is the only thing we have. If we don't do that for these kids and their families, don't keep complaining when these kids are out here breaking into cars and doing other things. This is the only thing Avon City has to offer. So something should be done and the lake should have a separate price for these families. Because if not, everyone is watching. I feel like this is all political. Everyone is watching. Everyone's gonna see that, yes, the mayor's trying, but then the president on this board is not. Just wanted to put that out there. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Anybody else from public? Going once, going twice, motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor? Have a good night.
See if my neighbor's still there.